Oh, that's strong. Ugh.
What did you mix?
Oh, I didn't mix it. It's just Driftless Glen, but it's like super strong, man. What is that? Holy crap.
Did you not put enough ice or water in it?
I got one of those big cubes. This, one of the
You
big.
didn't give enough chance to melt and mix around.
Oh, no, I did not. Let's send this thing. Let's give her.
This is the Okayest Hunter podcast. Never pass on shooter bucks, because that's just meat in the freezer. It's your tag, you hunt how you want. This is Okayest Hunter.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back, or welcome to the Okayest Hunter podcast. I'm Eric. Greg's over here virtually. It's in a basement. I'm in a basement. Yours looks more basementy than mine.
Yes, sir.
The setup here.
No frills here.
Dude, speaking of setups, look at this. Oh, yeah. I'm going to do that a lot tonight. I'm going to push the wrong buttons. I got a new camera switchboard. The other one, it does work, actually. I was able to get it charged and turned back on. So, like, crisis could have been averted if I could have kept messing with it. But I think I like this one a little bit better. I did have to spend a lot of money on cables. I learned some new stuff about HDMI cables. These are fiber optic over HDMI. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Nice.
But it won't carry the signal to this new board without high quality cables. Apparently wasn't. That's why the other one looked like shit.
Well, there you go. You learned something.
Long cable runs that weren't good quality cables, and it wasn't. It could take the signal, but it would take a crappy signal. This one won't take a crappy signal. It'll only take a good one.
Oh, the commentary is already coming in. Do you see that? Did Greg lose a bet? Not exactly.
Did you shave your beard? You sick fuck.
So, Greg, there's always a story, right? Once upon a time, I had to shave it off because I had diesel fuel all over in it, and I couldn't get it out.
What happened this time?
In this case, they had to do impression work for my teeth.
Okay.
So they put this. It was a purple epoxy like gel stuff in like a mouth guard.
Yeah.
And they had to stick it in my mouth and press up. Well, meanwhile, all that stuff gooed out, and guess where it goes?
Ew.
All in my mustache, all down my beard, down my chin. I'm like, I feel a shave coming on after this. I tried digging that stuff out. I was ripping hair out of my face when I was doing it. Like, nah, we're just gonna call this what it is.
Well,
I'm getting a shave, little weight reduction for summer.
That's funny. You grew a beard fast than anyone I know. I think by this time next week it'll be a full-fledged beard all over.
It'll have some growth.
It's like the Santa Claus scene. Just goes right back. We're brought to you by Nosler Ammunition. I think we're finally at the point where they are our guest next week, pending any schedule snafus. Typically it's my fault. So I'll say it should be anyone's fault.
No.
But, yeah, trophy grade, high quality ammunition. We're going to learn a lot more about their origin story, how they make their ammunition, what they have coming up, which is really exciting, as well as I think there's going to be a lot of good questions that come in from that one. We already parked a whole bunch we have these new things on Instagram, Greg, that you may have noticed called broadcast channels.
Yep.
So there's 3 of them. One's BTS, which means behind the scenes. So that's stuff like you've seen me maybe dealing with this camera switchboard. Mm-hmm. Then there's weekly updates, which is like, who's our guest? What kind of questions you have for them? And then there's product updates, which is anytime we do new designs, update on inventory, stuff like that. I'll use that one for that. So anyway, you probably had seen some of that stuff coming.
I have.
Yeah. Which is cool. I'm excited that we have that new mechanism. So if you're not part of one of the broadcast channels on Instagram, no big deal, but it's easy to do. You just go to our main profile page and you'll see them pinned on the profile page. You can jump in and join up. So I'm not going to spam anybody. The broadcast channels are what they say they are. So yeah, that's it. There's nothing else really to it. So if you want to save some money on nozzle or ammunition, you can use code OHP. That's what do I say for Ohio Hilo Papa for 20% off. That made my brain hurt. Is it Ohio for O? Is that the phonetic?
I wouldn't know. I'm not.
Oscar. What am I doing? It's Oscar. Wow, that's the easiest one. Oscar Hilo Papa, 20% off. You can see in the background here if you're watching, because we have video on Spotify now, or maybe you'll watch us on YouTube the day after we go live. I usually get that out there. Other partners on the screen, Rack Hub. I did a nice fun tagging thing on IG too, just to give some love and appreciation. So if you're looking to decorate your home in a fun, unique, creative, clever way that won't piss off your significant other by having the man cave spread out in other parts of the house, Rack Hub's a great solution, whether that's elk antlers that you found out west on a shed hunt or a trophy that you got hunting, whitetail antlers, muleys, single, double, like you could do a pair, you could do a single antler. They have some pretty fancy stuff over there you can check out for an affordable price, a great alternative option to mounting a deer or whatever it is that you're mounting if you're looking to save some money and creatively place these things all over your home. And then Muck Boots is on the screen right now. We're going to be putting their boots through the paces. We've already been doing so in some way, shape, or form. I know we all are rocking the Muck Boots. I've been wearing the clogs, the Mucksters all over the place for now because it's not hunting season. But I think if you're going to get boots, obviously you can use code HP, save yourself some money, but get them now, get them worked in. So you're not getting blisters. Get them worked in so they don't smell like rubber. Get some mud on them. Go put them through the paces before hunting season. The last thing you want to do is walk out in the woods with a brand new pair of rubber boots. I don't advise doing that. So get them sooner than later. Bear Archery, we got our bows tuned. If you didn't see the video, new bow goofing on YouTube, it's nothing special. It's just me and Greg shooting our bows. That's about it. My bitch ass with my poor hurt arm. And Spartan Forge, they were on the screen a second ago. I think I might have missed it. Their new AI. I mean, they've been AI since they were born. They were born into the AI world with their deer movement predictability. But their Cyber Scout, which is basically ChatGPT, but for hunters, anglers, outdoorsmen, gun builders, you name it. It's basically AI that doesn't pander to the East Coast Silicon Valley bullshit of censorship. So check that out. You can get it on the desktop version of the app. And then Latitude Outdoors, we got their saddle hanging back here. I can put on the screen. My head's in the way. There it is. That's the Latitude saddle right there. They have a lot of stuff coming to market very soon. Stay frosty on that. We'll be very, very excited to put that stuff to the test as well. And we'll likely do some more videos there. But so far, I mean, we've been working with Latitude since they launched in 2019. Since day one, we've been with those guys. They've been with us. So I'm very fond of the Latitude brand and the products that they have and the folks that work over there out of Michigan. How long did that take us? 8 minutes?
Yeah, at least.
Trying to chop it down, picking my time to go through all that stuff. Trying to keep it lean and mean, Greg. So we do have a guest with us. Let's get him on here so I can stop blabbing while you're looking at your phone. You old freaking beardless geezer.
Wow. Nothing but love.
Nothing but love, buddy. John, thanks for
love. Look at this guy.
What's going on, man?
We're happy to have you. We had you on. I don't know if it wasn't like a year ago to date per se, but it was something like that. It wasn't. It might have been a year ago. I don't know.
It's been a while, but hey, listen. I think I didn't really remember that you didn't have a beard. That I was wondering if you lost a bet and you were like being stuck in like a basement somewhere. Like, is there a guy upstairs with a bottle of lotion telling you to put it on the skin? Does he have a hose? Like, what is going on there? I mean, it looks like you're in prison.
Well, it is Folsom Prison here. This is the workshop area, the arrow tweaking area, the shooting range. Just for bows, I can't shoot guns down here without getting in
Oh, why not?
Well, when you got people that got in trouble right in your backyard, you don't really want to mess around with that.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah,
but archery tackle I can get away with any day of the week here.
Well,
that's fun.
John Radzwilla, you are the founder. I don't know what your official title would be over there, editor-in-chief, bigwig. I don't know, of Hook and Barrel magazine.
Yeah, actually, this past December, in January, we had the honor of hiring a whole bunch of people. So I actually took a little bit of step back from the editorial direction / editor-in-chief role, even though I keep that title slightly. I took a step back and kind of assumed like the CEO role of like big picture kind of stuff and big partnership kind of stuff and vision of the brand. So, Yeah, founder, CEO, former editor. I don't know. We haven't really decided who's going to get the editor-in-chief title. I think Nino. I think editorial director in the hierarchy of magazine rankings. I think editorial director trumps editor-in-chief, but we're not big on titles here. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm personally not. Someone asked me the other day at my day job, "What's your title?" And I was like, "I don't know. Go look at my email signature. I'm not sure what it is." So then I told someone what it was, but I was wrong. It was different. This whole time, my email signature. I thought I was director of digital, but apparently I'm director of digital marketing. I was like, "Oh, well, great." So I learned something new about my title. Like I just, titles are whatever. I mean, just
dude,
work hard, and that's it. That's all I think.
Jack of all trades, man. No job is too big or too small, So
you got to wear multiple hats. Even my day job, I've had to wear multiple hats. I still do. You got to pitch in, and it's a team effort. So keep helping everybody out, and it makes your world go around a lot better.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for having me on, guys, and sorry for busting your balls a little bit for that basement situation there.
It's fine. At least I have a basement. You're in Texas, aren't you?
Yep.
Yeah, I was just down there last week. So
it would help if we had basements. We could hide from the tornadoes.
And you guys don't. You got nothing down there. You can't do it.
No, I got a bathtub with a mattress that goes over the top just in case.
You gotta check your boots in the morning, make sure there's no scorpions or tarantulas in there.
No joke. No joke.
You guys got all that to worry about.
Yep.
Yeah. We got centipedes in our basement. Maybe that's that's about it. They just eat spiders though. Anyway, John, in terms of just having you on tonight, I think just give us a lay of the land. Tell folks, remind them that maybe we have a lot of new listeners since probably we talked last. So if you could just take the elevator pitch on what is Hook and Barrel, maybe a little bit how you started, and then we'll shift gears a little bit and get into some good meat and potatoes.
Absolutely. Hook and Barrel is America's fastest growing lifestyle and entertainment magazine for outdoorsmen. As you can tell, I've said that a million times, 10 times fast. But no, we've grown rapidly. We cover everything from hunting and fishing, gear reviews, but we really get into the lifestyle of all of it, from music to travel and destination, to cooking, to just great human interest pieces that all surround the outdoors without getting into the specific niches of the outdoors. So we internally joke it's a redneck GQ. We've had everybody from Jason Aldean to Emeril Lagasse on the cover and back, man. So that's what we do. We're distributed now nationwide, Eric. We are in so many different stores. I believe we're in about 46 states now. We're in all the Bass Pro Shops in Cabela's in Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, and Arkansas, and all the other states, and also too, including Texas and those other states I just rambled off. But in America's top tier independent retailers, so like your Fin Feather Furs, your Palmetto State Armories. Out west, we're in more stores, so we've actually been blessed enough to move that far. We're also online, hookandbarrel.com. And then we actually just last week partnered with My Hunt, which is kind of like the OnX of Europe. And they have, according to them, over 700,000 active users on their platform. So we are now their American media source for all things America.
Man, I wonder how that works over there. Is it? Am I thinking of Europe or England? Like, I'm geographically challenged, guys. So, isn't hunting over there not great because it's all permission? Like, it's all privatized?
It can be good.
I don't mean not great in the sense like maybe you can't, but don't you have to pay?
They have different rules than we do.
Yeah.
We have, it's a freedom for us, really, where you have to be part of a club.
Yep.
To even use a firearm. You have to go through classes to be able to hunt and kill an animal. It's usually on private land. It's always on private land. It's club land. And it's totally different than what we have. I mean, we almost take it for granted here in comparison to what they have. Like, I was talking to a gentleman from Germany, and he's gone through the classes, but the club owner won't let him shoot an animal. He's what they call a beater. So they do a lot of drive hunting with dogs and people, and that's just what they do at that club. So that's all he does is push ground.
Maybe he just needs a fancier little hat and a better tweed coat.
Maybe.
Because they don't. It's funny. They always laugh, like us Americans. We look like we're going to war. Like the animals shoot back, and then they looks like they're going to a cocktail party.
Yeah.
So
That is funny. Yeah, I know. I always feel like good one, Chet. Good show.
yeah.
Nice. Well, you really laid the smackdown on that one. I don't know.
Dude, but Germany's deer season goes from like, I think it goes like May to January. It's something insane. I just was over there for IWA, which is the big European hunting show, and I think they have like a 5-month deer season with no limits in Germany.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it's roe deer. They're not hunting whitetail.
Yeah, they're
clearly.
hunting roe deer and some stag.
I would say, where do I go to kill a stag? Those things are like elk, but hardcore because they sound.
Yeah,
sound
It sounds like Jabba the Hutt when they
yeah.
yeah.
They got a roar to them.
Yeah.
Their meat gets sold to market there, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a
They
market.
divide it up amongst, they're each allowed a certain amount of meat, and then the rest of it gets sold to market.
Wow.
Nothing goes to waste there. The resource does not get wasted.
Interesting.
Which is really cool. I wish our USDA could get behind naturally sourced meat, because that would probably bring hunting to more of a normal standpoint, but also provide that everything that everybody wants, that organic, grass-fed, free range, non-GMO, all that crap you spend all that money for
go
at
kill
Whole
it, man.
Foods. Yeah, just like here.
I
buy
started
this.
reading this book called Inherit the Hunt by Jim Poswitz. Am I saying that right?
Oswitz.
What an interesting read. What a great character for conservation. He actually talked a lot about market hunting back in the early days, and how like the populations got decimated and so on and so forth, and how we've done such a great job in the era of Theodore Roosevelt to bring everything back, and just a different time when hunting was kind of first coming around, in this country, when you consider pelts and furs and meat and all that stuff. I wonder where that would go nowadays. Probably would be, I don't know. I don't have a strong POV on it, but I'm trying to learn more about just the general nature of conservation, and I like this guy's point of view on things so far.
I guarantee you, in some way, shape, or form, like in America, we could manage to screw it up, because we would turn into like some kind of competition, like reality show, or who knows what we could turn this into. I'm sure like it would go from like sustainable hunting to all of a sudden like sustainable capitalistic. I'm not really sure how to describe the right words, but I could see somehow it getting out of control.
Yeah. I mean, some people think that in this topic, and we're going down a rabbit hole, which is fine. I think modern day social media, folks trying to sell product, commerce, content, yada, yada, has been contrasted or compared to, in some way, shape, or form, market hunting, because everyone's trying to do something for a profit. And I'm like, I don't think they're the same thing. But
think about it. It'd be like Pokemon Go with animals. Like everybody in the woods would all of a sudden be like, you start getting messages from like the random kid from high school, like the one that was like talking about Bitcoin a while ago that you probably should have listened to. But anyway, he's like, hey, have you heard this new thing called like deer coin? Yeah, you go out to the woods and you look for deer and you shoot them. Like before you know it, we somehow gamify this and we have a bunch of idiots in the woods.
Yeah, that's already happened with all this.
Oh no.
But to kind of round out and bring it back,
bring it back.
Well, I think no, not even bring it back. We could bring it in. We could bring it into getting kids talk about Pokemon Go and getting. I think that was an interesting app that actually got a lot of children outside looking for fake animals, and I find it fascinating that you compare that. People are I think the baby boomers, maybe, I don't know generations, but they were annoyed that that's what's getting them outside. But it's like, so what? They're outside. Versus people that get into hunting with social media. It's like, that's what got you into it. But it's like, well, they're doing it now. So what does it matter? What mechanism got them into it? They're doing it.
Well, it got them outside, but also gave the Chinese the map of every single building inside of America. But
they just keeps finding new ways to spy on us.
yeah. Kids are looking for like a Pikachu in the White House.
Right there. I swear the rarest one's right here. Let me just get behind this. But I know part of what we wanted to chit chat about a little bit is just getting the youth in the outdoors. And you've got, you got one little one, right?
Yep. Jack, he's 4.5.
4.5. I have a 2, a 4, a 2.5, a 4.5, and a 6.5 all September, baby. So I won't be doing an elk hunts anytime soon, but
you should have thought that one out.
Yeah.
It must be cold in March up there where you're at.
I tried to have that conversation, but it went nowhere.
It's too late, Greg. It was just the wheels were already in motion. The seeds were planted. We actually posted it back to like, that's about when hunting season ends. Really, it wasn't New Year's. It was more like hunting season ended, and it's like reminds you of the scene from Step Brothers where he's like breaks in as a lumberjack. I'm here to lay my, he's all Yeah, yeah. Well, that's
I
not.
don't think that's how it went,
No,
but
no, it wasn't. It was more like, sorry, I've been gone for months hunting deer. I'm back.
Well, we'll transition out of that. No,
yeah,
getting
please.
quickly abort. No, man. So Jack, I'll tell you what, man. There is no, I just was on Fox News about this too. Like, there is nothing more awesome than getting your kid outdoors. And I think a lot of parents, like, we want to get our kids outdoors for like the warm and fuzzy, like here's his first fish, or like here he is roasting a marshmallow. Like, it's well beyond that. And I think that's, if more people could realize that, like, kids basically death scroll on this, or they're on TikTok or whatever they're on, right? And they don't get the calluses, both physically and mentally, that they need to, be put into uncomfortable situations where they have to use their head, situations where you can't just DoorDash or Uber or Amazon Prime or just like mindlessly scroll on Instagram. If more kids were outside being challenged every single day, we would probably not have as many of these like issues that we have in this country, whether it be just from like, I guess, like snowflakeism to like nothing better to do but bitch and complain about things. And because I think people truly have lost like real challenges in life. As things become easier in life, no matter, I mean, studies show like you continue to create all this adversity in people's lives, and then you trickle off the adversity, they will find something within the easy to complain about. There's like a scientific proof to first world problems. And that's kind of where that's the blessing and the curse of where we are as a society. And there's this great place in the entire world called the great outdoors. And that's a place that there is no easy button there. And I think that just getting kids outdoors teaches them to be aware of their surroundings, how to work with their hands. Bushcraft is a huge part of being like a backcountry hunter in general. People think like you go to the backcountry and I could shoot really far and I got the best gear out there. Well, that's all fun and games until like, your tent springs a leak. You need to go figure out how to get water. Your matches get wet, all these different things. Right. And so it provides a great place, but also too, like as I work at my deer camp too, like my kid, he may be too small to be helping, right? He might just be playing with his monster trucks, but in his little eyes, he's watching me run that chainsaw. He's watching me rake. He's watching me weed eat. He's watching me fill feeders. And it in his mind, like he never says anything to me, but I hear him upstairs with his friends, like, my daddy was using a chainsaw. My dad did this. And what that does is it builds like this platform
My
for
dad
him.
could beat your dad up, all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Instead of like, hey, my dad like door dashed. Oh, well, good for your dad. My dad killed it with an arrow and dragged it through the woods and gutted it. Like, like those are the kind of things we're putting to kids. But like being cold, being wet, just being miserable in general, which is 90% of hunting, like beyond the trophy shot. Like these are all things that kids need to do. And it doesn't have to be some grandiose trip. Like dude, take them out looking for salamanders. Like just let's go for a walk in the woods when it's raining, figure it out. So that's my standpoint on kids outdoors, man.
Oh, and that's what Dad did with me and my brother and sister. I mean, we're going out when it's 80 degrees out, in the morning right away to go, clear line fences and help the farmers so we get our permission to hunt the next year or whatever. We always had stuff to do, and it made us better for it.
You can't
Absolutely.
tell me how many ticks I picked off my kids this year for doing things outdoor. I mean, I literally countless ticks. I couldn't count them. Then you get them in the house and it's like they just keep showing up for weeks on end. Like, oh, another tick, pick them up. But even simple things like that, like that's normal. That's normal now. They have ticks on them because we went morel mushroom hunting, because we went doing this, we went doing that. Like we're out doing stuff in the in the woods. And in times where like, I don't know, I'd rather not have to deal with ticks because I fucking hate those things. But I'd rather get a memory in the bank and have that. But to your point about, he's watching and you don't hear him talking about stuff until maybe he's with his friends. There's a quote, and I don't know who the hell said it, but it was something along the lines of, forget that your kids don't listen to you, or not forget, but like, never mind that they don't listen to you, because they often don't. Mind that they're always watching you. Like they're always watching you. So like they model your behavior more than you can possibly imagine. So it's not just like don't do as I say, do as I do. Like, kids do what you do. They mimic what you do. They embody your political stance, like how you speak, what you do. Like, except for the one thing, I swear a bunch, and I tell my kids, "You don't swear." I swear I'm an adult. You know better not to. You know what those words are. You know not to say them. Like, that's one thing I'm proud of, is that my kids know the difference when to not say those things. Uh,
Correct.
my wife being a teacher, she had a fifth grade student parent complain that her child, her virgin child ears, heard the word in fifth grade from another student, and it's like, that's the first time they've heard that word, and like, it's my fault. Fuck out of here. Like, probably have heard that word by now. Like, what are you talking about? You mad at me? Maybe you should teach them what those words are so they know better. Like,
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. I've gotten off lots of tangents tonight, but I think
Well, no, you're right. They do absorb and they become just you. Like the 2 necklaces I wear, my buddy David Worth carved this one, but on the back of this one I got it for Father's Day. I wear it all the time. I got it for Father's Day like years ago, and it says, "One day I'll be just like you. Love, Jack." And it reminds me of like, dude, at some point he's going to become an adult, and you're not going to be able to change his ways. But if he could absorb things and be, I don't want him to be all me, because there's a lot of parts of me that
I
aren't,
think they're good
aren't
and
that
they're
great.
bad. Yeah, like we care
Right.
bad too. Like, it's not all
But
yours and lollipops.
But I carry it. Like, so I want him to see like me giving it my all. I want him to see like nobody cares, work harder. Like these are all things that are going to build skill sets so that when he comes into the race of life, he's not going to be complaining like, oh, this particular person has this advantage over me, or I didn't get dealt a fair hand. Lottie freaking da. This is life, man. Not everybody's equal. Sorry. It's the bottom line of it. Sucks. Like that's what society tells everybody needs to be equal and all this stuff. But at the end of the day, we're not. We're not. There's people are going to be faster. There's going to be people that are smarter. And depending on the application you're working in life, man, you're just going to have to reach into your toolbox and just work that much harder if that's not your skill set. But, just like the participation trophy generation and all the rest of the stuff that's going on right now, like we're just saying it's okay. It's okay. If you can't do it, don't worry. No, man, freaking figure it out. And the outdoors does that, man. It's a great equalizer.
I think I called people a bunch of bitches for not having authenticity on a couple podcasts ago. I think I started that way because I'm known to start with the most awkward whatever, which is, I don't know. I don't try to do that, but it just seems to happen every single week. I say awkward things out loud into a place that is the internet that lives forever. So that's great. I'm sure that'll be used against me at some point in time in my life. I probably won't run for politics because of all the shit I've said on the show.
It'll be on your roast at your 50th birthday.
Yeah, that'll be great. Something to make a montage. But to that end, adversity builds character. And I'm a big fan of using adversity, the things you've gone through, those chips on your shoulders, that ends up becoming your strength in life. You now, like, I've gone through terrible things in life, and a lot of people have. So, like, again, who cares? Like, it doesn't. Everyone's got different things. But to that end, no one's going to tell me anything that's going to be worse than what I've gone through. I don't give a shit what anyone says to me about literally anything that could be a slant towards me, because words may never hurt me. Like, nothing anybody says to me will be worse than what I've already gone through. I've already been in hell. So, like, you think your words are going to impact me? Like, sorry, dude, you don't mean that much to me. I don't care what you have to say. I got my own stuff to deal with. And that adversity has built a lot of character to callous your skin and your mind to go through some tough stuff and handle it. You, as an entrepreneur, John, full well, that shit's hard. It's super freaking hard. It's not
Dude.
as romantic and sexy as Gary Vee would make it out to be. And there are those parts of it, but those are the accolades. The only way you get the accolades is by going through shit. Most of business, like 90% of it's failure. Like, you only get maybe 10% wins.
Oh yeah. I mean, but it's how you come back from those wins. It's how you adapt from, the bullshit that the business world hands you. I mean, you are going to get kicked down and kicked when you're down and tripped and trap set in you. I'll tell you what, I just was having this conversation with my wife today. Like, one of my biggest weaknesses in life is my impatience with people who don't run or go as fast as I do and process things and do things correct. I mean, like, I work so damn hard as an entrepreneur. I mean, I've got it all out on the line. And like, I started this morning at I don't know, 6 o'clock when I got up checking emails. I'm here on a podcast more than 12 hours later, and I'm going to finish out with my emails all day. I work too damn hard. But I'll tell you, there are a lot of people that just set you know, they literally have one job and they manage to screw it up. And that's my hardest thing as an entrepreneur, is like learning how to deal with that, because I've got so much money, so much time, so much family on the line. And there's nothing easy about it. You start taking it very personally when people can't manage to do their jobs right, man. And that's one of the things that sets me off the most. It's one of my biggest pet peeves. It's something I struggle with. But yeah, you're right, man. There is nothing easy about this job. You could be doing everything perfect, and that delivery truck guy could get lost. That delivery truck guy could forget to call. That forklift driver could drive his forklift through the pallet of your magazines, or or that advertiser could screw up an ad, or something like that, man. And it's just like, it's out of your control. But when you're an entrepreneur, you tend to be a control freak, and it's difficult. And it's a lot of times it's out of your control.
Well, something you just said is it's out of your control, and I'll lay on my stoic horn for a minute, which is the whole impetus of that school of thought is you can't control things. You can only control how you react to them. And so it sounds like there's an issue in dealing with.
Yeah, no, I don't react very well.
And for that, and like the philosopher king, i.e. Marcus Aurelius, has said, like, hey, he would wake up and tell himself, today I'm going to deal with idiots, ingrades, degenerates, in modern terms, shitbags, a-holes, people that are disrespectful. And if I give in to them, and like, he's saying, like, expect it. So I'm not going to be surprised by those encounters. It's going to happen because those people exist and occupy the world, and they have a place in this world, and we need them in this world for whatever those reasons are that are beyond our purview. But to that end, like, if I give way to those people impacting me, at some point I'm implicit in feeling that way, because I knew that I was going to encounter that asshole today, or that idiot. And there's a place for everyone in this world. And that's an interesting way to think about it. Like, I can only control how I react. And then if I'm reacting in an unjust way, given the fact that I'm dealing with that type of thing, that's on me, because those things exist. So I
like that
philosophy, or stoic philosophy, for a number of reasons like that. It just helps put things in perspective from a broader viewpoint. And that applies to the deer woods a lot, because I can't control the outcome of what happens when that arrow leaves the quiver. But what I can control is my response to it, which is going to be shitty. It's going to be a shitty response, because I'm going to feel like an idiot. That's part of the OK Hunter mantra. But what I can control is how much I practice and how much I shoot my bow and take aim at 3D targets and let it rip, and figure out where my fail points are and what's going good and what's going bad, and having the confidence at full draw. So when that mistake happens, am I going to blame my equipment? Maybe. Am I going to blame myself? No, that's what I should be blaming, is myself. I should have enough practice to not have to blame my equipment. Right, Greg?
Yeah, but we all take turns of being that idiot.
Yes, we do.
And that. Just keep that in mind too. In the next 5 minutes, it's your turn to be the idiot. It could happen. Could be 5 minutes, half hour, could be tomorrow morning.
Well, my 5 minutes was about 35 minutes ago, trying to get onto this podcast. I was running late. I think I cut the same, I know I cut the same guy off twice in traffic, because he drove by me, and rather than flipping me the bird, I could just see him going 2 times, screaming at me, because I was running late. I was like, I'm cutting in here, and I'm going to cut you off again if I got to. I got to make this podcast. So I guess I paid my dues, my idiot dues today.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Was it a Cybertruck?
Dude, I live in the world of McLarens and Cybertrucks here in Frisco, Texas. They're like everywhere. I literally feel like, what's that kid's game, like Minecraft, or what everything looks like little blocks? Those things are driving around everywhere here.
I've only seen 2 in Wisconsin. We're the land.
I definitely saw the most when I was in Houston last week. There was a dealership, and there were lines of them in the grass, and there was grass growing up around the tires. If that says anything, I don't know. But and that same car dealership had plenty of the Tesla SUVs and cars parked there too. Could not believe it, how many Teslas are running around Texas.
Have you guys seen the people that are like polishing those things to like a fine mirror finish, and they have no idea why that's a dumb idea? That literally a flat surface coming through an intersection, it just creates mirrors. Like, I've ran into mirrors before in like changing rooms, let alone on the road.
Or just the sun reflecting off of them, how much of a distraction that is.
Yeah.
I've seen people coding them and stuff. Like, whatever. I don't have two thoughts about a Cybertruck. Like, it's not in my future. I can give a shit. I think they're kind of neat, but other than that, like, whatever. If that's what you're going to buy, good for you, I suppose. I think most people that own a truck don't utilize it to the degree that a truck should be utilized. Unless you're on a fucking farm, you're probably not utilizing your truck or up north or somewhere where you're really using a truck for truck reasons. It's just a glorified grocery getter that you're proud to drive. Like, I might strike a chord with some people, but like, I think 80% of the population of truck owners are not doing truck things with them. Short of maybe putting the deer in the back every now and again, carrying stuff you don't need to worry about going in the truck bed. Greg, you're a real truck owner. I'd put you in that classification. You use the shit out of your truck.
Yeah,
I am not. I had a Ford, whatever the hell. Man, I put 2 deer in the life of the time of that truck and towed a trailer once. Other than that, I was like, hey, can you help me move my couch? You got a truck, right?
Yeah,
funny.
I use mine as a truck. Between hauling lumber this weekend for a project and trees the weekend before that, and I planted 8 trees over the weekend. It was good. Built a garden box and did some yard cleanup and hauled stuff away. And I have a boat. When I get it put back together, I'll be hauling it to the lake.
You got a big boat
So,
too. It's not a little boat. It's a big one.
yeah.
Yeah. So you need the V8 for sure. I know towing my trade show stuff with my twin turbo V6 Ford EcoBoost. That did not go well. That truck is not made for towing.
I'll tell you what, I definitely use my truck as a truck. It's always off road, like up the deer camp, and it's got scratches. I mean, it's got Texas pinstripes all down the side. It's got dents. It's covered in mud. The neighbors are always wondering, like my HOA, like I live in one of these like 0 lot line neighborhoods, and our neighbors just shake their head when they see it. But you use your truck a lot outdoors and during the deer season. This year I was, afterwards I was, changing out the fluids and cleaning out the air filters a couple months ago. And I pull my cold air intake because I think my Tundra supposedly, I guess I might think it's like some kind of like Baja racing truck. I got to put all these parts on it. But anyway, that I digress. Anyway, I open it up. Dude, the entire cold air intake had a rat's nest in it. And it was full of corn. Like corn. I'm like, I am so glad that somehow this didn't get sucked in. Like this would have been an epic disaster.
In times of year around here, all I got to do is park it overnight, and it'll be packed full of some sort of either bird seed. The neighbors feeding corn to the chipmunks and the squirrels. That'll be packed in there. I'll find it in the old box. I'll find, we got maple trees, so right now they're dropping helicopters everywhere. Their seeds are helicopters, and squirrels and chipmunks like to pack them away in random places. And if you got a vehicle parked for less than 8 hours, or 8 hours or more, I should say, it's gonna get something hidden away in it.
Yep. No, absolutely. It's a miracle I didn't get something screwed up though with that. I mean, I've been driving around for months like that.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of cool. It's fun to put it in 4-wheel drive and actually have a need for it. Like here in Wisconsin, got a lot of snow, but Greg, you got stuck in your cornfield 2 years ago.
Yeah, 3. That was more than 2 years ago, but that was the last day of bow season. I wanted to get out, and that one corner of the field was drifted higher than what it looked like, just because of the way the wind was blowing. You couldn't really tell because everything was white. So yeah, I buried it right up over the fenders. It was pretty epic.
Yeah, it was. Where's my 2-year-old to say that was epic? That's been his new thing lately. I'm like, what was epic, buddy? What even happened? You're just going around saying it. Oh, it's great. Well, on the fitness side though, too, like you talk about, or like I had said, your kids watch you, like that's important. They're seeing you do all this stuff. I'm a glutton for running in the heat. I don't know what it is. It's so miserable that I love it. I love the misery of it because I feel like I'm really putting it in high gear. Like some people like, well, they'll wait till, it's the evening and the sun's kind of on its way out. They'll get up really early in the morning, and I'm fine with those things. But if it were up to me, I'd run at noon in the dead, thick, nasty, swampy, disgusting 100-degree days. I love that. And I would take concerningly, I was taking my boys because like my daughter's older. She's like, Dad, I've done the runs with you. I'm good. Boys couldn't really argue back with me and tell me that their disposition was. So I throw them in a double wide stroller. I'd have to give them something to hold on to. Otherwise they'd fight each other over, whatever. And I'd have to break up a few fights here and there, but pushing 2 hefty boys in a stroller on a 3-5 mile run in the summer heat, like they're with me. they're seeing me run, they're cheering me on. And so like at that point, I don't give a shit about my run time or my lap time. I don't really care. I just knew that like, A, this is hard, B, because it's hot. B, I'm pushing these freaking boys in the stroller. But C, they're here with me. And it was this really cool thing where like my wife got a little bit of a break from having all 3 kids. I would like if I go on my own, then she's with all 3 kids in addition to me being gone all day and so forth. So like that was a bonus. They're seeing me do it. They're with me. I'm getting a harder workout. All around is a good thing. But I think you'd said, John, at the beginning of the call, like you're 39, I'm 38. You are fit as shit, dude. You are chiseled out. You're doing ultra runs. Like you're doing all sorts of crazy stuff in CrossFit. I don't want to say I wish I was in that amount of shape because I could probably make 1,000 excuses, but like I still give it a good go and trying, but I can respect where you're at because I know how damn difficult it is at this age to stay in that level of physical fitness. It's really freaking hard. And that's
Don't let the old man in. Don't let the old man in.
Yeah, no, that's it. I'm trying to keep the dad bod in check, but that translates to the deer woods. And we like, I don't know, you find out real quick how out of shape you are when it comes deer camp time in November in Wisconsin or the Midwest, and you're dragging a freaking deer out of the woods and you feel like your lungs are going to collapse. So like, I really revel in like trying to stay in decent shape, especially cardiovascular shape. Is that how you say that?
Cardiovascular health.
Yeah, that's a thing. I don't know.
Whatever. Yeah, definitely.
So I mean, like, kudos to you, man. You've been putting in the freaking reps for sure. What is that like? Like, how are you handling all that?
Man, yeah, I have. So I've really got involved in High Rocks, which is it's like if CrossFit and a marathon or maybe a 10K had a baby, it would be CrossFit or it'd be High Rocks rather. And so I dove deep and hard into that race world. And what's really cool is they have races from Singapore to Texas and back. It's an international deal. It's about 500,000 racers worldwide, and the top 2% get to go to Worlds in their particular age class and then their division. And like everything I do in life, I just couldn't have like a regular division. I had to go pro after my first race, and then we've been there since. But I podiumed all season long. I missed Worlds by 50 seconds, and I would have.
Oh,
but in other races, I would have made Worlds, but there weren't the slots. So there's all different reasons that I make. But the bottom line of it is like Jocko says, man, it's extreme ownership. The only one to blame, it's not the person that may have cheated. It's not the person, whatever. The only person you could blame is yourself. And that's how I am with it. But no, man, the training, my training routine has gotten insane. Like any day, if I'm not working out, my calorie burn is about 2,800. If I am working out, I'm anywhere between say 35 and 4,100. My average workouts are 750 to 1,000 calories for about an hour. You're just cranking it. You're just cranking miles, and you're just getting better. And I'm a numbers nut, and I'm just always go. And I always have to be the best in whatever I do. And so that's it. But like what it does is it again translates to my kids seeing that. It translates to my business, my go, like stop at nothing, no matter how dead tired you are. Like, so what? You're not going to die. Like no one's ever died really from, I'm sure people have died from running too far or with heart conditions, but like no one's going to die like that's in shape and like, oh man, I got to run an extra mile, I'm going to die. Like nobody does that. I guess unless they have a heart attack or something, but and then in the deer woods, like 100%, like I have so many friends that are out of shape, man. And dragging your deer out or climbing up the ladder to the feeder to fill corn or whatever, like that's a breeze. And I actually kind of secretly love when I find out my friends are out of shape and they want to go hunting. I'm like, all right, yeah, we're gonna walk in extra. We gotta stay back here. The deer or the bears, they're really smart, so we're gonna go in an extra half mile, or we gotta carry all this corn in. The quads broke. I'll make up some excuse and just F and bury them. I think they figured it out at this point though. But yeah, no, I've been working out really hard. I bought all in. And then I find like once you go down deeper in the rabbit hole, you start uncovering more people. So it's like, hey, you've got this opportunity to run High Rocks, but have you considered like Tough Fest with Mountain Tough? We're really good partners with Mountain Tough as far as content's concerned. Hook and Barrel, I guess maybe because of myself, but nobody else in our hunting space is covering the fitness side of the media, or the media side of fitness rather. And so that's a flag that I'm carrying right now for our industry. Like you've got Mountain Tough for for fitness routines. You've got Mountain Ops for nutrition and others in that category. If you want fitness advice, come to Hook and Barrel. And I want to carry that flag all the way top of the mountain. No pun intended. But yeah, I'm the further you get into the fitness world, it's not like just like you stop at a Spartan race. Next thing you know, it's going to be a High Rocks. Next thing you'll be doing CrossFit, and then you'll be doing Tough Fest like I just did in Montana. And it sucks you in, because once you achieve one goal, it's like, what's next? It's kind of like deer, right? Like you got an 8 point, now you want a 9, and you're a 10 rather, or whatever, you just keep upping the ante until you're like, oh yeah, ultra marathon, like barefoot in a lava field. Yeah, let's do that. This sounds cool. Epic, bro. Let's do it.
So like what I think so what is the driver though? Is it, I hear a lot of folks talk about, and I'm one of them to some degree, because I pair a lot of what Gary Vaynerchuk says, because I've to some degree I've idolized him, but I've also then, like the Good Will Hunting movie, like I wish you would just stop. I wish you wouldn't be home one day and you wouldn't be here. Like Gary Vee will be the first to say, like, stop following me and go execute. So we've been doing that now for like 4 or 5 years. I don't really listen, I just execute. But I know he says the same shit every day, all the time. It's the same stuff. Certain people need to hear things several times for it to resonate. But he'll talk a lot about like, love the process, not the destination. Of course you'd love the destination, but he says the day I buy the jets for real, because he's obsessed with buying the jets, he's like, I don't want to actually buy them. I just want to buy them, and I want to love the process of getting there. Like, I love the process of everything we're doing. So I enjoy, like, our business could fail and I'll still do this podcast. I love it. I could strike out on deer every year, but I'm still going to go hunting because I love the process. I love everything about it. I love the preparation, the anticipation of it, the certain smells of it, everything about it I love. So when you talk about like some of this fitness stuff, I have to imagine somewhere in there, what weighs higher for you, the process or the outcome? Because you're a competitive guy, but in the midst of it, I'm sure you don't hate it, but if you didn't win, like, you're going to keep showing up and doing it, right?
Man, that's a really tough question. It's going to make me really think here. I think I don't know, Eric. The process is awesome. I love watching the build. I love watching my stats. I mean, God gave us a Ferrari to live within, and from the nutrition side of it, to the fuel that I put in it, to the speeds I want to run it at, and the challenges I want to put my body through. Like, I love that part of the process. I love seeing the incremental results during the process. But I could tell you, like, it's not fun at this level. I mean, I don't know. A lot of people say they really enjoy it. I don't. Like,
that's like entrepreneurship. It's lonely at the top. At some point you get to a certain degree and there's not that many people up there with you.
Yeah. And like, you're like 10 miles into this and you're holding like a 6.5 mile pace after your legs are completely blown from like doing sled pushes or jumping this thing or doing that or whatever. Like in High Rocks, it's like you're running 1,000 meters after pushing a 440-pound sled for 50 meters, and you're trying to do it at a 6-minute mile pace. There's this part there. It sucks, but you know what? As soon as you go through that finish line and you see that time come up and you podium and you get that flag or you get that medal or whatever, at that exact moment, you're like, when's the next race? I want to do it. Like, I could be better. I could do more. I want to win this thing all the way to Worlds. Like,
I mean, that's like some David Goggins shits where he's talking about taking souls,
Oh, dude. Yeah. So don't even get me started on that. Yeah. Sorry. You got me fired up, but yeah, that's something I do. That's what motivates me through like the suck in the race. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I have a chip on my shoulder that's like, and I really didn't realize what it was until I heard like Tom Brady talking about it, right? Like, I will find somebody that's somehow wronged me, even though they may have not. Like, I'm like, did that guy look at me funny? Did that guy like cut in front of me in purpose in this race? And like, I will
two times.
Yeah, 2 times. Yeah, twice. You're gonna die. No, and I'll go back to that Goggins part about taking souls. I remember I was in a race and there was this guy, dude, he went to my gym. He was like a super nice guy, like really nice guy. And for some reason, I'm like, I'm pissed.
You took it personal, didn't you?
Oh, I did. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to keep, he was a natural runner. Like, he was kicking my ass in the running. And I'm like, I'm going to steal this guy's soul right now. I'm going to pass him. And I should not pass him.
I bet he didn't give a fuck either.
He didn't give, but I did. And I remember I was running and I got to this like gigantic, like freaking rock carry thing. And I'm like, I'm gonna take him here and I'm gonna take this all the way. And I remember at one point, this is sick, guys. He tripped and fell, and I turned around. I heard like this noise behind me, and I could see his face going. And he like hits the ground, and I'm like, "That's right where your soul got taken, and you're never gonna. You're never gonna see it again. Like I'm gonna win this race," and I did. But like it is that kind of stuff in competitions that's how you get through the suck of it. Like you not only do you keep your competition behind you, because you've already taken their will to win. But for me, it satisfies some weird, sick part of me of having to win. But it keeps me motivated. Like the minute I know I've got that, my second place or the people behind me's soul in my hand, I ain't giving it back until the end of that race. And it's crazy. Like, I guess maybe I get fired up about that, but like I've had this chip on my shoulder my entire life. Cause when I was a kid, I was really bullied.
Where's it coming from? Yeah. Where's it coming from?
Yeah. Like when I was a kid, I was bullied a lot. And, I don't know, man. For a while there, I believed what they were saying, and I didn't like that whatsoever. And I'm like, I'm gonna prove these people wrong. And no matter what you say about me, like, I'm just gonna beat you. And like, because like numbers don't lie, results don't lie. Like you can say whatever you want about me, like I'm not good enough, or I'm not strong enough, or I'm a wuss, or this. But yeah, that wuss just took your soul, like, and in high school, I didn't know what that was. David Goggins was probably still 300 pounds working as a third shift cockroach sprayer, but
Yeah.
at that time, but I didn't know what that was, and I didn't have any definition for what it was, but I was picked on a lot. And
Yeah, Greg and I both. And
Yeah.
we didn't grow up or go to high school together, none of that, but we've talked about it. And yeah, I mean, I had my tire slashed on my mountain bike. I had to walk it home from school. Shit, like, dude, kids are fucking mean. Like, it wasn't cool.
Yeah, man. And like it's like these lasting scars that will forever be with me. Like, like I've proven these people wrong 10 times over, but I won't stop. And like in a way though, like I have to thank my enemies, like past, present, and future, because they're the rocket fuel. Like that's a great book to read for your readers, if you, or for your listeners, is Patrick Bet-David's Choose Your Enemies Wisely. It kind of like outlines all of that. And another great book, I just met with the author, Michael Easter, is The Comfort Crisis. You put those two books together and mix a little Goggins into it, dude. If you could become a student of those three books, that's going to set you up. That and like some Jocko's leadership books, but those four particular authors are just it's stuff to live by. But yeah, man, it's that chip on my shoulder that stems from some deep rooted childhood crap that like nobody in my family is very competitive. I don't know where it came from. And I guess I have to just thank the bullies from back in the day. It just made me a freaking, I don't know, throat biter. I don't know.
I feel that. It's an interesting message. And I part of this brand is sticking up to that. Let's make people that make fun of folks for that's the only deer you could get, or that's. And so we're trying to be. I don't want the word inclusive is going to get a bad rap here, because like you talk about snowflakeism, like that's not what we're not trying to enable. That what we're trying to do is say we're a collective voice, and in the hunting community, we're being picked on as a collective by the broader population, people that don't hunt. It's not the antis that are going to ruin us. It's the middle. There's so many more that don't even know what it is, that have all that voting power. So as a collective group, we're being picked on. And what ruffles my feathers in the okayest hunter world of things is the neck biting the head off. It's like, guys, so the war's out there. What are we doing picking on each other here? Like, knock it off. We're on the same fucking team, And so I get very passionate about that. This is really hard for me to learn. This is anytime I encounter something that I get viscerally upset about in my own mind, and I'm like, if I'm reading something, I'm like, I can almost feel my blood pressure rising, because I'm like, I've subscribed to this idea my whole life. I've subscribed to this idea that passion is what will win the will. Passion is what will carry you through. You have to be passionate about something to do it. You need to be passionate to be an entrepreneur, to be a good hunter, blah, 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 blah. And it took me a minute to absorb a new ideology that purpose is greater than passion. Passion's fine. Just like motivation is weaker than discipline. You can be motivated, but that will not be a sustainable fuel source. Passion is not a sustainable fuel source. Purpose, discipline, those are words that are going to carry you through something for a long period of time. And it's my belief that our purpose is to do something for the greater good of this community, which is why I'm like obsessed about conservation and all this other stuff, and trying to figure out how we can be the glue to I'm changing subjects a little bit here, and I'm taking a lot of this energy and excitement. I'm just trying to morph it into this next thing about being the glue in the space. So, like, when you think about the reach that Hook and Barrel has, and the amount of, like, you're in all these stores nationwide, big retail, big box retailers in the outdoor world, the Cabela's and the Bass Pro Shops. Like, what is the when we talk about passion versus purpose? What is the purpose and mission and ethos of Hook and Barrel beyond being the redneck, GQ? Like, what are we driving home with it as you look at your next 10, 20 years, 50 years of doing this? Because you're going to live for a long fucking time because you're super jacked and in great shape. Like,
Well,
where-
either that or I fall off a mountain, but yeah, one of the
I
two.
mean, yeah. What's the vision, man? Like, where's it going 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the road? Like, what is
Yeah.
the quintessence of Hook and Barrel for you with this stuff?
Well, if you really want to know the heart and soul behind it, in my first ever editor's note that I wrote, it said, "Hi, my name is John Radzwilla. I'm an endangered species," because we conserve everything in the hunting space from the habitat to the particular animal, or fish or whatever. But we don't do a good job at conserving the hunter, in my opinion. We always wonder why numbers are going down and why we're having these struggles. Well, it's because, like, God willing, we talk to the same old white dude all the time. It's like literally an echo chamber. Like, dude, like, let's focus on, like,
Who's our core demographic?
we got our core demographic. Trust
Yeah,
me,
we
we
fucking know
don't
who it
need
is.
any.
Yeah.
We don't need any more core demographic, right? You need somebody different. And I'm not just saying for, like, DEI initiatives or, like, having, like, your one special person like that. That's all bullshit. Like that, is nothing gets me more upset than that kind of stuff. Just like having, like, diversity for the sake of diversity. Now, like, what you want to do is you want to attract and condition everybody in an accepting place rather than talking to the same people. So, to my point, my mission is our hunting and our shooting rights are preserved in the margins of elections. Elections are won in the middle, in the independent vote, right? So for me at Hook and Barrel, if I could put together a lifestyle and entertainment magazine that attracts new blood to the space, but also washes away the ignorant stereotypes painted upon us as outdoorsmen by those that either don't understand our way of thinking or oppose our way of thinking, and clear that up for the people in the middle. Like, if I could take somebody from the left and move them to the middle, and the middle is understanding, and then move somebody from somebody that's understanding and on the fence over to our way of life, I have just won. This is the funnel, right? Take somebody from the anti side to, at least I'm willing to take my fingers out of my ears, going la, 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 to, hey, I'm actually willing to hear what you have to say because I understand that you are not the bloodthirsty gun nut that we have been painting you to be for so long. To the middle where they could at least learn, because maybe they picked up the cover and they saw Natalie Eva Marie on the cover, girl with pink hair, Latina Italian, right? Like totally outside of our demographic. Or they've read a story about a musician they love, or like, hey, I was interested in some recipe that I found, or whatever. Now we've just shifted them to the middle category, or maybe we've taken that person from the middle, moved them over to our lifestyle. But it's a slow burn, man. This is not an easy process. But as outdoorsmen, if we continue to keep giving the antis the ammunition to paint us as bloodthirsty gun nuts, they're going to keep doing that, and we're going to end up losing our hunting and shooting rights because of that behavior. And so my long-term goal is really to conserve the hunter through understanding and erasing the ignorant stereotypes that have been painted upon us and bringing people to our way of life. So that's the big picture. And then, from the business side, like 10, 20 years down the line, I don't know where our brand's going to be, man. I have an insatiable appetite for winning. And so we just took Hook and Barrel this week global with the syndication of our content through the European market. What does that look like? I don't know. Let's see where we grow it there. How do I grow this, even bigger? How am I in every mom and pop shop? It just doesn't stop. And it actually goes back to another chip on my shoulders. In the very beginning, I had a guy come up to me. It was like running a local newspaper, and he was upset about competition in the space. And I'm probably paraphrasing at this point, 8-7 years later, basically the gist was, hey, I don't like the competition. You're going to be a burr under my saddle. I'll be a burr under yours. I'm like, dude, I'm not going to be a burr. I'll be a freaking burr tree. Like, don't challenge me right now. Like, the last thing you need to do is tell me not to do it and then threaten me all at the same time. That was the rocket fuel I needed at that moment. And like,
bottom, man, like collaborations for the top. And
right.
There's enough to go around, especially in our community. We need all we can get.
Right. Yeah. And collabing our way to the top. That's kind of one of our things. And yeah, man. And so he's just in Texas now. I'm nationwide. So it's, I don't know. Now I'm not satisfied nationwide. I want to go global. It just never stops. But realistically, if I could normalize the conversation and erase the ignorance, that's really a huge part of my passion behind all of this.
There's a lot of ignorance. I don't know where it comes from. Greg, we talked about this on one of the shows at some point, and it was on. We weren't able to clip it into the episodic we have out the first season, and we'll see how it goes. But a gal had stopped me when I was putting a canoe in the water, and we got one of our other podcasters jumping in here, so you're gonna have to hang in there, buddy. Anyway, it was like she's like, "Are you just gonna go maim deer and drink beer out of a tree stand?" I'm like, "What? What? Like, what do you?" Absolutely not.
How did you come to that?
Like,
that
where did that
image? I mean,
come from?
It may have been the hat that said I'm the okayest hunter.
It was wild, man. I was like, she was so upset. She's like, "You can't hunt here." I'm like, "Well, that's why I'm putting a canoe in a river. I'm gonna hunt over there." "Are you sure you can hunt over there? You're just gonna kill these deer that I love to watch?" I'm like, "You don't understand." I actually talked to her for like 20 minutes, and got her to like come around. It was wild, man. And we didn't share it because I didn't like have her permission to put her in the episode. So our videographer's like, I'm not gonna fuck with that. I was like, "Yeah, I hear you. It's all good." But it would have been a really good piece to put in because it was pretty interesting. It was the first time I had encountered face to face someone that had this viewpoint of us that wasn't what I know us to be. And I'm like, so there's other people like this in the world that have no concept of what really goes on and how intimate this actually is.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's good to hear your mission and kind of what you're trying to accomplish. It's hard to do. And the funnel, yeah, I think you can. I don't know where you stand with Meat Eater, but I think, they get a lot of flack for various things, but overall positive. Like, they brought a lot of new people into the hunting community that never would have thought about it.
Absolutely. No, I can't applaud them enough because they were on mainstream Netflix. I mean, say what you will, and people all have a debate. And most of the people that have the debate are within our industry anyway. So whatever, we could all debate ourselves, But I think they did a lot of good. Also too, like what I talk about this all the time, the Rogan Haynes effect. Joe Rogan and Cameron Haynes have really put a lot of the fitness stuff on the map, but also put the whole Western lifestyle of hunting on the map. There's a lot of people out there doing really good, and Ranella falls within that same group of people. But it's sad. There are a lot of people out there, but just like the Natalie Eva Marie cover in her interview, she says, "Shout out to PETA, you made me a hunter," because she didn't like the factory farming. She bought into that. She tried to go vegan, then decided that she actually needed protein in her life. And so what she ended up doing is, learning how to elk hunt, and went out and got it. And it really, if it wasn't for those people that were so anti, she probably would have never picked up a rifle and killed her first elk. And it's not because she was spiting them, but she bought into it. And I would agree. Like, factory farming is disgusting. I don't like the idea. I think our food sources are really kind of crummy in this country, and to see what they do to these animals, these freaking poor animals in little tiny cages that move their entire life, then get, popped in the head. Yeah. They lift and they get fattened up and pumped full of all kinds of hormones and antibiotics. It's terrible. Right. And so that person that's complaining about you going and shooting the deer that they love to watch, that's great. But ask them at the same time, how do you feel about watching the cows? How do you feel about watching, how about fish farming? Fish farming is terrible. Or
fish farming, chicken farming.
Yeah.
Chicken farming is disgusting. They're cages on top of each other. They're eating each other's shit.
Yeah, man. And so that is if you could actually have that constructive conversation with that woman, bring her off of her, maybe make a joke or an icebreaker and bring her off of her, you're going to cross the river maiming deer and drinking beer. If you could somehow calm that down and then try to explain us as hunters.
That's how I did, by the way, but I can tell you how.
How did it turn out? How did it turn out?
It ended up being a super positive engagement. I think we actually gained a new follower out of it, to be quite frank. I was
That's cool.
It was really interesting because I was then, it got my, fight or flight response going up. Also, and I was all heightened because I'm getting yelled at by some crotchety old lady that's like, "Man, you can't be over here." I'm like, "Whoa, whoa, no," now I'm defensive. And in front,
Right.
I've learned a lot from Stoic philosophy. Actually, is like the worst thing you could do with someone that's already on defense is like attack their character. Like
Right.
you need to let them be seen and live in their frame for a minute so they can be heard. Half the time, people that are complaining. I remember when I was at a call center doing tech support in college, and I would I was the person that people would escalate calls to, and half the time I would have their situation or their issue fixed before they even got to me. And it wouldn't matter if I said, "Hey, whatever you're complaining about, your bill, your tech problem, I fixed it. Like, we're good." They would proceed to talk for another 10 minutes. They just needed to be heard. Human beings just need to be heard. So if someone is different than us and they're saying something that isn't what we would say, the best way to like soften their walls or bring them down is to hear them, live in their frame for a minute, let them be seen, and then you have an opportunity to do the same. It's really fascinating. So somewhere in the subconscious mind of mine that has been absorbing this information for 5+ years now, was able to deploy something that worked in that scenario, and I felt pretty good afterwards. I was like, man, this is kind of cool. Like that lady thought I was gonna literally, she thought I was gonna go maim an animal and drink beer in a stand on public land. It's comical how outlandish that was.
Where do they get those ideas from? Like, was it like Elmer Fudd growing up? Like, I'm not really
It
sure.
could be, man. It really could be. A lot of the stuff is like institutionalized. You think of Disney, you think of all the cartoons, you think of like the anthropomorphization, or the word that I can't say, of like these creatures talking and being cuddly and cute. And then we don't do ourselves any favors. There's a lot of people in our community that like need to be policed, that do dumb
Yeah.
shit. It's like, dude, please, for the love of God, can you not
There's
post that? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, there's plenty of people that have bad days in the woods, and we all will have them at some point, or have had them multiple times, but some things are best left unshared.
Dude,
That's between you and the man upstairs and what happened in the woods, and then you need to take it and learn from it and improve next time.
yeah,
That's all you
I
can
mean,
do.
there's players even in our space as an industry. I'm like, what are you guys thinking? Like, in the publication world, I can name a few. I'm not going to, but I'm like,
sure, I bet.
where are y'all's heads? Like, I don't get it. We're already fighting a battle enough. Like,
You
I don't know.
talk about the kids have been displaced because they'd rather play inside on video games and go outside and do stuff with their hands. But to kind of echo that point or take it a step further, it was like the 1940s. The school systems, the educational system started getting. We used to teach character and morality and ethics as part of curriculum. That has been gutted, and it's been replaced by test scores, high test scores. Get into college, get into that college. Those things have now superseded the building of character and morality and ethics. And as a society, I think we lack character, ethics, and morality because everyone's trying to like the parents that are bribing politicians so their kid could get into fucking Harvard. Like that's unethical, immoral, but it's pandering to, well, they need to have good test scores. Because people are worried they're not going to make it in life. So it's not coming from a bad place. It's coming from like, I want to take care of my child, but we've lost our way a little bit as a society. And that's a bit of a root cause. Then you have all this other stuff on top of it. There's so many perfect storm ingredients that have bred what I think the medicine is outdoors and hunting to some capacity. Like the outdoors is a medicine. It's really something I'm proud of with our podcast network. You talk about Mountain Tough Fitness. Zach Hansen, who hosts the OKS Trapper, he is. I think his particular show is brought to you by Mountain Tough. That guy's fit as shit too. I lost a push-up competition to him to some degree. Like, we're all doing 100 push-ups a day, and here he is doing one-handed and clappers, double clappers. I'm like, okay, Zach, take it down a notch.
That's a mountain tougher for sure.
Yeah, but super good dude. Like no ego, doing good, a lot for the greater good. Just a great guy. But there's trapping, there's fishing, there's hunting, there's elk hunting, there's homesteading. There's all these things that live in the outdoors that can heal your soul. You want to be really crabby tomorrow? Go doomsday scroll for an hour or two, and you're gonna have a really crabby day. Go outside and go for a fucking walk, and you're gonna have a really great day.
Dude, yeah, and there's so many great things outdoors do. I bet we could sit here and sit on that soapbox forever. But I mean, the bottom line of it is rather than what our society, all these little first world problems our society worries about, like where you fall in the political scale, I really don't care. And I just mean this more as more of a metaphor, but like let's not worry about gender politics. Let's worry about making our boys men. Let's worry about that. Let's figure out how, rather than, like you said about stoicism or, being on your phones and stuff like that. Like, how many times have you seen, like in society, like there's a fight and everyone's like, oh, they got their phones out there. Like,
Help
dude,
them.
if I saw that, I'd smack that phone out of the way, break up that fight, but instead we've trained our kids just to do that because it's social media hysteria, and it's like, the outdoors is a great place to. There's a lot of people in this world that need to be punched in the face, and I think that the outdoors is a great place.
Outdoors is a great place to get punched in the face.
Yeah, like that. I mean, not literally, figuratively.
Yeah, well, but also
like,
literally.
Oh, well, yeah, yeah. But I mean, I just general, it will turn our boys, our 30, 40, 50-year-old, 6-year-old boys into men. Get out there and get your ass kicked a few times in the woods, and you'll have better things to worry about than like, what bathroom you're using, those kind of things, and all the things that our society now deems as important. Like, that's not the problem. Our problem is we have an entire society full of softies that are willing to complain about all these other things. Like, realistically, just get outside, like do hard things and do them a lot. And then I guarantee you will not be complaining about half the stuff our society complains about. Those are all first world problems. What's interesting is Michael Easter has a book, I just referenced it earlier, called The Comfort Crisis. Interesting stat. 2% of people will take the stairs when the escalator is right next to them. Only 2%. The rest will take the escalator, right? And that's kind of indicative of like what's going on in our country right now. Like, take the stairs. May take a little bit of extra effort, but it will improve your health wise. It will set you apart from everybody else. But everybody just wants to take the easy way, man. And that also is being, I guess, I don't know, just ignoring the problems that we have, and just being okay with taking the easy route and picking out your phone instead of getting into that fight. You're filming it for likes on Instagram or whatever. And, they choose not to go in the outdoors, but yet they'll sit there and complain that you're out there maiming deer, but they won't do the hard part about learning about conservation. Or maybe, they'll go to the grocery store to go buy antibiotic injected food, but yet they'll be the first to complain that they have health issues. Like, do the hard thing, and then all things, other parts of your life will improve.
It's fascinating how it's a daily battle to not be lazy. And I'll be the first to just admit openly, like, the pull to be lazy is, given the things in society that we do have, it's really easy to be lazy. And God, man, the stoicism with me, I just feel like my audience is going to just start puking. But it's like,
I love it, man.
Marcus Aurelius, another one. He's one of my favorites. But he says, like, he also said, do hard. This is 2,000 years ago, the Roman emperor. Like, do hard things, because the I'm gonna get it. I want to try to get it right here, but like, the body is lazy, but it's not. The mind is in charge. So like, and I've said this out loud several times. Like, I take cold showers every morning. I've not stopped doing that. I've done some cold plunging. I just don't have now it's summer. I don't know how to keep my damn cold plunge cold. Stupid excuse. So I'm still doing cold showers. It's fine. But it's the mind will tell me, like, you don't have to do that today. Just enjoy the hot shower. Like, I don't want to do a cold shower. I'll turn it to cold. It's like, you don't have to do it for 2 minutes. You could do it for 1 minute. And I have to continue, like, no, bitch, I'm in charge. Like, I'm in charge, not you. Like, the mind is in charge of the body. My mind should be tough. And I'm tough because I'm making myself do something hard. And in doing something hard, the rest of my stuff throughout the day should be really easy. Oh, I want to run in the heat. And every time I'm running, I'm like, this sucks. Why am I doing this? It's terrible. You're going to have a heart attack. What are you doing? Your mouth's dry. You should get some water. You should stop. You should walk. And I'm like, no, bitch, keep going. I'm in charge. I'm in charge. The body wants to be lazy. The mind has to keep it in check. But it's hard. It's hard. But the harder shit you do, the more easy other things become. Greg doesn't want to be on this podcast. He's like, no, bitch, I want to be on this podcast.
No, you're 100% right. And it's actually another book. Dude, I'm like ADD when it comes to books, but I'm reading Mark Manson's It's the sequel to The Subtle Art of Not Giving a
Oh, sure.
Fudge,
Interesting. Yeah.
called, I
Even
believe
square.
it's all hope is fucked, I believe. And the Christians in the crowd, yes, there's a lot of very challenging things, and I'm not buying into everything that he's writing about from the religious aspect. But in one interesting part, he talks about the thinking brain and the feeling brain, right?
Hmm.
The thinking brain is all about emotions, and the thinking brain is all about logic, right? And we always think, though, that the thinking brain's in charge, but it's not. It's actually the feeling brain that's always in charge.
Always
We
correct.
we
Yeah.
we we we
Logic erodes emotion. Like emotion erodes logic. So like
right,
emotion will usually win, but you need to know that to put some logic in and think through the feelings.
right. And when the feeling brain takes over, and this, like, let's say it's a car, right? You're basically your thinking brain's like, does everything as possible, its possibility, not to careen off the road and burn, like crash into flames. Your your feeling brain just wants it to be the clown car, just driving all over the place, wherever it wants to feel. The minute that your thinking brain or your feeling brain takes over the thinking brain's guardrails, it's when it becomes a clown car. And at the clown car stage, that in talking about fitness, that's when the mind always wins over the body. And so, like, you have to work on your mental conditioning every single day. You're right. Like when you're running in the heat, or when you're on your 6th mile and your complete legs are completely blown, or when you're packing out that elk because you shot it like 10 miles off the trail, you have got to work so hard in your life not to have the feeling brain who's going, this sucks, put down the pack, this sucks. Like, you've got to keep that thing between the guardrails. Like, no, we need to get out of here. If I leave it here, not only am I a loser, I'm also probably breaking game laws for wasting. I've got to get out of here in time to make food for my family. You got to keep that thing going, because if you don't, the mind will give up far faster than the body. I think most people know that, but I can't drive that home enough.
Yeah, you push the body much further than you think you can, and if you've never been to that point, then you just don't know, and it's hard unless you have some external pusher, like
Yep.
military or exigent circumstances, or packing out an elk or things of that nature. When you just got to keep going because you have to keep going, because there's no shortcut when you're dragging out a deer. You're like, well,
Nope.
this is gonna suck. You'll probably take a bunch of breaks along the way. It's fine. You have to, but like the helicopter's not going to come and the drone's not going to come and drag it out for you. Like, you got to do it. You got to
Yep.
do it. I'll help you, but like at the end of the day, you got to get from here to there, and there's no other way to do it than it's gonna be hard, and you got to just deal with it. And then
Yep.
when you get it done, you feel really good. After my cold showers, I feel really good. After my long hot runs, I feel really good. Like the result is always a net positive.
Absolutely. And that's what builds the calluses, both physically and mentally, that will make anybody successful. And if you could build those calluses on one aspect of your life, there's a very good chance that they're going to cross over into other parts of your life, whether it be business, athletics, hunting, being a family man. I mean, it all takes mental toughness. And I think we all know.
We talk about the hardest thing in life, being a parent. Let me just tell you, I wasn't prepared for how hard that would be in ways that you can't possibly imagine. I don't care how fit one is. Dadding, albeit a glorious job to have in life as a purpose, it is super freaking difficult raising humans.
My house has been stinking for like a week and a half. I'm like, what is the smell? And my wife is actually blaming the new taxidermy we brought in here because they're a tar. It smells like a goat, right? I'm like, no, that's not that smell. And we were figuring out, dude, my boy had an entire Ziploc, like a freezer bag Ziploc full of pancakes in his toy box. Like,
everything.
What were you thinking?
Yeah.
Well, that's hiding food like a squirrel for winter, man.
It's like we starve him or something. I don't know, man. Nobody cares work harder, but I'm not talking about starving a kid. Jeez.
No, it's good stuff, man. I think I love getting down to the philosophical components of the conversation. It's great to hear your mission, ethos, vision, and where this is all going. I think we can bring the plane in for landing here and put a pin in it. You've had a long day, and we got lots of work to do on our end to get this thing put to the the broadcast or the whatever the freaking RSS feeds this evening. So, I think it's pretty obvious. Hookandbarrel.com. Like, where else can people, like, you're in every major outdoor retailer, by and large. Is there anything you want to leave folks with? Anything upcoming that you want to pull the curtain back a little bit on and debut here or tease to?
Yeah, absolutely. So our next issue drops right at the end of this month. Our July-August issue comes out. It features the United States USA shooting team on the cover, and we have an 8-page feature with those guys. Those guys don't get enough coverage. I mean, Russia, China, all of our adversaries fund their Olympic shooting team. United States doesn't. We're the land of like the Second Amendment, but we make our guys pay their own way. It's a really awesome article. Interview with everybody from the shotgun teams to small bore to air guns. You could read that and cheer those guys on. I think I'll definitely let your readers know to pick that one up. But also follow us on social media. Our YouTube channel. We have an awesome new video series coming out. It's set to basically it's like a music video meets hunting. It's really cool. Bringing all the lifestyle into it. There's a lot, but best thing you could do, honestly, if you once you pick up the magazine, go onto our website. There'll be a little button that scrolls along the bottom that says join us, or when the pop-up comes up 30 seconds after being on site, put your email in there and you'll be the first to know everything from the new covers to great new video series. We're about to launch our Spotify channel, so we talk to a lot of musicians and artists and athletes. Like I always wonder, like, what do these guys listen to? I guarantee they don't listen to themselves. So we got with John Cooper from Skillet, and he put together an awesome metal playlist for us on our Spotify channel. There's always really fun things that we're doing. So the best way you could stay up to date is, man, just put that email in. Go to hookandbarrel.com, hit that join us, and you'll be the first to know all the great stuff that we have going on.
It's fantastic. Good stuff, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, happy to have you. And I think that'll do it for tonight, guys, gals. Thanks for tuning in. Heads up, a reminder, Foam Fest is on the calendar for August 31st. That's the last Saturday in August. We have a new series that'll be dropping, a new episodic from Derek, dropping pins. We'll stay frosty on that. We'll try to find a line of like a timeline as to when that'll come out. And we have 2 more podcasts on deck to join our network to bring us to 12 shows on the network, which is cool. Really exciting shows, I think. Great hosts, good topics. So, and they all kind of imbue our mission ethos and everything we talk about. So, yeah. Greg, am I missing anything at the moment?
No, I think you covered everybody for now.
Update on hats. Can't Eat the Horns patch hats. They've been out for a while. We optimized our supply chain, and it's just going to take a minute. They're flying in from overseas now. So hopefully we'll have all the colors available, and we have some new models with the same patch, some Blaze Orange Grandpa hats. So I think we'll have them sometime in August, hopefully before September. Tyler's doing his best to get that done and make that happen. So we have those in. Otherwise, everything else we have inventory of. So if you want anything else we have, go do that. We don't really ever push merch. It's not what I'm trying to do. We've been asked several times now, when are you getting those hats back in? And soon. So it's a lot to manage all that shit. And I think that's everything I have. So thanks for tuning in this week, and have a great week.
See you.
All right, guys. Thank